Hi there, it's Matt from Muzoma here, and today I'm looking at some of the new MIDI features of Muzoma 2.0. So Muzoma features this new controller icon here. If I open the app and click this new control icon, you can see we've got the control settings. Now the way I've configured this is an iPad mini and it's connected to this Oxygen 8 keyboard from M Audio. It's quite a nice keyboard because it features some controls and you've also got these buttons for transport, so that maps in quite nicely to what we're going to show here. The way I've got the setup is we have the camera connection kit here, and that is routed into this USB 2-port hub, and we've got the Oxygen 8 keyboard is one of the inputs into the USB hub, and we've got the X32 producer for our multi-channel audio sound from the iPad, and that is in the other port on this USB hub, and that allows you to split the functionality of the iPad between MIDI and audio. So let's get started with these settings. So what we've got is basically Bluetooth configuration, which we're not using today. Share audio with other apps, we don't really care at the moment about that. And then this is MIDI to be received in the background. Now what that means is, if you want to control Muzoma while other apps are running, or even when it's closed down, you know, the iPad's in standby mode, you're going to need to enable this so that it can listen, and it will listen for up to 60 minutes. Any longer than that and the battery can get quite drained, but 60 minutes should be good. And it will listen on your MIDI channels, and any controls that it receives it will then respond to in the background. Then we've got basically the virtual MIDI in and virtual MIDI out come as standard. They're always enabled when the app's running. And then you get one extra control port which you can select. Now that can be a physical or a virtual network port, network session, and so in this case we're using the Oxygen. The Oxygen's connected to the hub, and therefore we see that in our list of possible connections. So let's just set it to the Oxygen 8 version 2. And then we've got a whole bunch of stuff here, so we can respond to learn commands, respond to start stop, and then a whole bunch of learning stuff. And then we've got respond to mixer fader controls, so you can actually remotely control the mixer functions from the keyboard or from your MIDI controller, which is cool. And then likewise in reverse, you can also send out what you've learned or what you want to actually select from these options here. So that allows you to send as well as receive. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to learn the command for play from my MIDI keyboard. So I've got this button here, controller 15. If I go learn play command, you can see we're learning the MIDI command. So if I then hit play, you can see it's actually registered what the control is. So it's actually saying MIDI channel 13, control 24, value 27. And do I want to react only to this when it sends a value of 2127, or to any value on controller number 24? And so I'll say only react when I see 127 because it's a button. So now I can do the same for learning the stop command, and let's try that. So if I hit stop here, and this time it's control 23, so react only to value 127, and so on and so forth. So I'll go through and learn the rest of those. So one of the other nice features is you can learn the mixer MIDI as well. So let's control the mixer through MIDI. So you go into the song, open the new mixer tab, and we've got a mixer here. So the way you learn is pretty simple. You just double tap and you get a whole bunch of options for that fader, for that channel. So the top one is learn MIDI for fader. So now we're learning, and let's go for this last control. So you can see it's figured out what it is. So now if I turn this, you can see, hopefully, I'm controlling the click. So now what I can do, if I hit play, you should be able to see that I can control start, stop, and the relative volume of the click. So let me turn these others down a bit. That way we can hear the click a bit better. So hit play. So that's MIDI mixer function.